The Society of Black Lawyers, SBL, has vehemently condemned the government's decision to block the implementation of pre-sentencing report guidelines, labeling it a deliberate step backwards in the fight for racial justice within the criminal justice system. The SBL argues that the guidelines, suspended by the Sentencing Council following intervention from the Justice Secretary, represented a crucial step towards achieving equal treatment after centuries of systemic racial bias. The organization points to 500 years of racist two-tier policing as the root cause of the disproportionate representation of Black and minority ethnic (BAME) individuals within the criminal justice system. The now suspended guidelines, intended for implementation in England and Wales, emphasize the critical importance of pre-sentencing reports, PSRs, in sentencing decisions. They specifically highlighted the need to consider factors such as age, sex, and ethnicity when determining appropriate sentences. This proactive approach aimed to mitigate the inherent biases that have historically led to harsher penalties for BAME individuals. The stark reality is that BAME communities are disproportionately represented at every stage of the criminal justice process, facing higher imprisonment rates and longer sentences compared to their white counterparts. The proposed guidelines contained a clear directive. When considering a community or custodial sentence, the court must request and consider a pre-sentence report, PSR, before forming an opinion of the sentence, unless it considers that it is unnecessary. This seemingly straightforward provision aimed to ensure a more equitable and nuanced approach to sentencing, acknowledging the complex social and economic factors that often contribute to criminal behavior. By mandating the consideration of PSRs, the guidelines sought to address the systemic inequalities that have resulted in unjust outcomes for BAME individuals. The government's decision to overturn these guidelines has sparked widespread outrage and criticism. The SBL's condemnation is echoed by numerous legal experts and advocacy groups who view this move as a significant setback in the pursuit of a fairer and more equitable criminal justice system. The abrupt suspension of the guidelines, characterized as a politically motivated maneuver, has raised serious concerns about the government's commitment to addressing racial disparities within the justice system. The intervention by the Justice Secretary highlights the political dimensions of this issue, underscoring the ongoing struggle to overcome ingrained biases and systemic racism. The decision represents a rejection of evidence-based practices and a retreat from efforts to create a more just and equitable system. Critics argue that the government's actions prioritize political expediency over the pursuit of justice, undermining the efforts of those striving for meaningful reform. Janie Starling, co-director of the gender justice campaign group Level Up, further criticized the government's actions, describing them as a populist pantomime. This assessment reflects the widespread perception that the decision is driven by political posturing rather than a genuine commitment to addressing systemic inequalities. The implications of this decision extend far beyond the immediate legal ramifications. It speaks to a broader issue of political will and the ongoing struggle for racial justice in the United Kingdom. The reversal of these crucial guidelines leaves BAME communities vulnerable to continued disproportionate sentencing and further entrenches systemic biases within the criminal justice system. The fight for equal treatment within the system continues, with the SBL and other advocates vowing to challenge this regressive step. The implications of this decision will undoubtedly resonate for years to come, highlighting the urgent need for ongoing vigilance and advocacy in the pursuit of true justice for all.